On Saturday, October 14th, the United States men's national team welcomed the four-time world champion German national team to East Hartford, Connecticut at Rentschler Field at Pratt & Whitney Stadium for an international friendly of sorts that the U.S. has not seen for many, many years. The U.S. have not had the opportunity to play such good competition on their own shores for quite a while. I'm James Burley for WFUV Sports, and I had the privilege of being there for this fateful friendly in which the U.S. would host the German national team and go off to a great start, including all stars from both countries, really, with the exception of a few injuries here and there. The U.S. and Germany both came in with a very, very good starting lineup, and the U.S. struck first off of the golden foot of Christian Pulisic, who's enjoying just about the best football of his life, recently moving to AC Milan in Serie A in Italy, where he has found great success in his first few weeks there. He scored an absolute stunner outside of the penalty area off his right foot to freeze Marc-Andre ter Stegen in goal and put the United States up 1-0. A great start for them. They thought they had already scored through Pulisic earlier in the half. The goal was whistled offsides, and they were applying all sorts of pressure to the German back line, but eventually that pressure would mount in the opposite direction as Leroy Sané absolutely worked his way through the U.S. defense, and it would be İlkay Gündoğan, the captain, former Manchester City midfielder, to put things level heading into halftime. And you think the U.S. had some confidence going into the second half, but they certainly did not show it, and it was all Germany in the second 45. From the start, they completely outclassed the Americans. Julian Nagelsmann, in his first game as manager of the German national team, the young manager really did show what he knows, having coached in the Bundesliga for RB Leipzig and Bayern Munich. When the U.S. applied pressure, he found ways to have his wingers exploit space down the width, and that's where they found so many chances transitioning and making the U.S.'s life so difficult in defense. And part of that was just getting space in behind the defense and getting space behind the fullbacks, Joe Scally and Serginho Dest specifically. The ball would be worked into the middle, where Niklas Füllkrug scored his 7th goal in 8 international games. The Borussia Dortmund striker is just loving his football with Germany at the moment. And then later it would be Jamal Musiala, the English-born, German-raised international, to make it 3-1 for the four-time world champions in Nagelsmann coaching debut. It would be the first win for Germany in many matches as well, as they go through a bit of a transitional period. U.S. men's national team coach Greg Berhalter, however, was pleased with some of the way that match went going into Tuesday's game against Ghana.
Those moments, the speed at which these top teams can play out, the combinations they can play in really tight spaces was important to learn. And then I think also for us to understand that we can also hurt teams like that. And it should give us some bit of confidence. And as we plot towards 2026, this pathway, it's about learning from these moments and understanding that we need to stay in it for every single minute of the game to have a chance.
Despite the loss, Berhalter and the U.S. are still confident going into Nashville Tuesday night, where they'll host Ghana for their second of 2 international friendlies this window. And it's a big moment for the U.S. as they know that they'll be hosting the Copa America next summer, and should they qualify, it'll be a big time to get opportunities ahead of the 2026 World Cup, where they will also be hosts. The Germans hosting the Euros, while every other team in Europe is trying to qualify for that tournament. They're already hosts for the summer of 2024, so they have some meaningful matches. They'll be playing Mexico tonight as well. But for the U.S., it's going to take some time before we see them really start to overcome some of the powers of the world. Greg Berhalter seemed to echo that sentiment that just not yet are we able to say that we can fully dominate and outplay these teams and learn how to beat them. Unfortunately, it's just going to take moments of brilliance, and how can we manage those? As for now, we can't seem to see a U.S. performance completely take care of an elite power of the world, despite so many great moments, especially a really strong first half where they thought they were going to be confident, and they will continue to be against their old foes from the 2006, 2010, and 2014 World Cups this Tuesday night against Ghana. For WFUV Sports, I'm James Burley saying so long.